Hey, this is Kevin with the Lordship Church and the sermon summary. Last Sunday we talked about a different aspect of the Christmas story, and we've been using the biblical story as well as the Christmas Carol. You know, Ebenezer Scrooge and Jacob Marley and his nephew Fred and all the different characters in that movie. And one of the things that God's really been impressing upon my heart about the Christmas story, the biblical story, is humility. Really, the story of Christ coming to this earth. He gave up his throne and glory, gave up what he had there to come in the form of a human man, and not just a man, but he came as a baby. The most dependent state of our condition of our lives is when we're a baby. We depend upon somebody else to help us. We cannot do it ourselves. And Jesus said over and over again, unless you become like a baby. Nicodemus, as he challenged him in talking with him about being born again, you must be born again. You must be like a child. Jesus said, suffer the little children not, and let them come to me, for such is the kingdom of God. Over and over again, we get the same message. You must become dependent. You must humble yourself and depend upon God. That's the only way you can make room in your life. Hear me very carefully. Humility is a gift of God. It's not a burden. It's a blessing. Because when you're humble, you actually make room for God. When the opposite of humility is pride. When that's in our lives, we have no room for God. We are self-sufficient. We think we know it all. We think we know how to do it all. And there's no place for God. There's a lot of pride in our lives. And in every one of us, it's something we battle with on a daily basis. It's what Paul talked about, working out your salvation with fear and trembling. It's one of those things we battle against is pride. I can remember being in a service with the preacher preaching, and they come to the altar call, and they make the altar call, and I know I'm supposed to raise my hand. I know I'm supposed to go forward. And I don't, because pride creeps in, and he's not really talking about me. That's really between me and God. I don't need to do that, kind of a thing. Humility. Humility is like the chain around Jacob Marley's neck in A Christmas Carol. Pride is like that chain because it limits us from being honest with God. I want to challenge you. We Christians battle with, we get so pharisaical and have such a hard time humbling ourselves and acknowledging our utter dependence upon Jesus Christ. The only way to make him Lord of our lives is to depend upon him, to seek the kingdom of God first. Not to seek other things, but to seek the kingdom of God first. Pride is manifested in many, many different ways, but it limits us. We're self-centered. We can't see the truth. We see that in the world today where we are taught to be self-dependent in every way of our lives, to be independent. We don't need anybody else, and yet it limits us. It blinds us from seeing the truth of our own lives. Man, I want you to see humility as a gift that God gives us. It is a blessing. I want to read this to you because it's a great quote coming from the book by John Ortberg, and he talks about humility. He says, if ever we grow into it, humility would not be a burden. In fact, it's an immense gift. Humility is the freedom to stop trying to be what you're not or who you're not. Man, we pretend. We want everybody to think everything's cool in our lives. Everything's great. Everything's just perfect. When the truth is that we are sinners that in need of help. We have this sickness, and we need God to help us and to heal us. And when we humble ourselves, we can be transparent with God and with others. God already knows the truth about what's going on in your life. How many times have we lied to God, try to put one over on God? Oh, I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm doing this. This is great. I don't need this or that. But God knows the truth about us. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So when you look at the Christmas story and you see the babe born in a manger, no room in an inn. After that, they become refugees fleeing to Egypt. I mean, you talk about humble situation. Gave up his throne and glory to come to be the perfect sacrifice for you and for me. Humble yourself. You'll see an incredible freedom that takes place in your life. When you see it from a mature perspective, humility is a blessing. It's a gift. Receive it this Christmas season. And all through your Christian life, grow in your spiritual walk. God bless you. Have a great day.